It's almost strange to think that someone as visually dynamic and sonically explosive as born Hideto Matsumoto was also one of the early adopters of the internet way back in the mid-90s. That detail, almost like a footnote in his biography, it really hints at this fascinating, forward-thinking mind that went, well, way beyond just guitars and stages.
That's a key point, actually, because that early embrace of online technology wasn't just some quirky hobby,
Right.
It suggests a mind already thinking outside the traditional Rockstar box. I mean, in a pre-digital music scene, he was exploring connection in a fundamentally new way.
Yeah.
And that probably informed his later direct fan interactions, maybe even his approach to music production. It just speaks to this inherent curiosity that fueled so much of what he did.
Exactly. And that's precisely what we're plunging into today. A deep dive into the vibrant career and lasting legacy of the Japanese guitar virtuoso, singer, and producer, Hyde.
And our main source for this exploration is the comprehensive Wikipedia page dedicated to his life and work. It's really a rich tapestry of information, just waiting to be unpacked.
So our mission today is to navigate all that detail and pull out the most compelling insights into Hyde's journey.
Right. We want to understand the formative influences that shaped him, his incredible rise with xJapan, the innovative spark behind his solo stuff, and the enduring impact he still has.
We'll be highlighting those surprising moments and key decisions that truly illuminate his unique character and artistic vision for everyone listening.
Okay, so let's journey back to the beginning. Born in Yokosuka, December 13th, 1964. What stood out to you about his early life? Anything that hinted at the artist he'd become?
Well, a couple of things are pretty striking, actually. First, attending Seika kindergarten, it had an English education program.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, that early exposure to another language, another culture, maybe subtle, but it could have fostered a broader worldview, a willingness to soak up different influences, which we definitely see later.
Good point. And the second thing?
The anecdote about the management-style physical activity because he was apparently a bit overweight as a kid.
Right, I remember reading that.
It's interesting how seemingly minor things like that can sometimes spark this lifelong awareness of image and presentation, which became so central to his whole persona.
It certainly did. And then finding rock music through late-night radio in elementary school, that feels like such a classic origin story, doesn't it?
Totally. He even started dieting then, apparently, with this idea that rock musicians had to be thin.
Huh. That's some dedication at a young age.
Seriously, that early commitment to the image, even before really getting the music, it speaks to the powerful pull of rock culture.
Absolutely. And it wasn't just listening passively. He also did kendo for like 6 years.
Wow, 6 years.
Yeah. That kind of discipline, the physical training, it probably instilled a certain rigor he could apply to music later on.
Makes sense. Then we get to middle school, and this is where the serious rock obsession kicks in, thanks to a friend. And get this, his grandmother bought him his first real guitar, a Gibson Les Paul Deluxe, natural color.
From his grandmother. That's cool. And a Les Paul Deluxe. Nice.
Yeah. What's the significance there, do you think? The Les Paul choice.
Well, choosing a Les Paul, it suggests he wasn't just drawn to the flashy side of rock, but maybe also to a certain classic sound. It's an iconic guitar.
True.
And the fact she found it at a flea market on the Yokosuka U.S. Naval Base, that just adds this wonderfully unique, almost serendipitous twist. It wasn't some pristine, off-the-shelf thing.
It had history from the start.
Exactly.
And he didn't just start playing it, he immediately started modifying it, carving out pickup cavities himself.
Yeah, that's pretty hands-on for a beginner, isn't it?
Right.
That early willingness to tinker, to take apart a pretty valuable instrument, it really highlights that curiosity and that desire to sculpt his own sound right from the beginning. It's not just playing, it's understanding, making it his.
Okay, high school at Zushikaze High School brings another layer. Apparently, he walked in totally unaware it was an all-boys school and that electric guitars were banned.
Huh. Could you imagine showing up ready to plug in and finding that out?
Crazy.
It just highlights this singular focus on his passion, maybe a slight disregard for the rules when it came to his music. His artistic drive was already primary.
And he even faced some negativity from an art teacher, apparently. But despite that, and clearly focusing on his guitar, he actually did well academically, got in via recommendation. Shows some adaptability, right?
Precisely. It paints a picture of someone who, while totally passionate about music, was still capable and smart in other areas. He knew how to navigate the system when he had to, even if his real passion was elsewhere. A strategic mind under the rock star surface, maybe.
So from those early days in Yokosuka, his passion for rock really started to solidify. This next chapter sees him stepping onto a bigger stage, forming his first serious band, Saber Tiger.
Right, during his time navigating the nightlife of Dobuita Street in Yokosuka. It sounds like a pretty vibrant scene.
Volatile, too, apparently. What can we take from this era?
Well, Dobuita Street sounds like a crucial melting pot for him, a place where his rock ambitions could really take root and be tested.
Mm-hmm.
And forming Saber Tiger there with friends suggests a strong local scene, a shared musical identity. And that anecdote about him skipping lunch to save money for entertainment, losing weight because of it,
Yeah.
that just screams classic starving artist commitment to the rock and roll lifestyle, doesn't it?
It really does. They were known for this energetic, chaotic stage presence.
But offstage, he was supposedly quite considerate.
That's an interesting contrast.
It's just that duality again. The wild stage persona may be a release, while offstage he was more thoughtful, more grounded. The Rockstar image wasn't the whole story.
But then Saber Tiger breaks up after some incident on stage.
Yeah.
And he seriously considered leaving music altogether. He even got his hairdresser's license, worked in his grandmother's salon for a bit.
That's a huge pivot.
Right.
To go from fronting a band to thinking about a totally different career, it suggests a real moment of reevaluation, maybe even disillusionment.
Definitely.
The fact he had a practical skill and a family business to fall back on shows a certain level-headedness, too. Makes you wonder if that gave him a different perspective later.
And speaking of his grandmother, she seems like such a key figure. Bought the Les Paul.
And he borrowed her sari for early xJapan stage outfits. I love that detail.
Me too. It shows that close relationship, but also that playful, unconventional approach to visuals right from the start with X, using unexpected elements.
Totally. But thankfully for music fans, that pull was too strong.
Yeah, Yoshiki reached out, invited him to join later xJapan, right after Hyatt had basically decided to quit music.
Perfect timing, or maybe fated timing.
And the other X members were apparently super enthusiastic when he accepted.
And Shiki stepping in at that exact moment seems pivotal. It shows Hyde's talent was recognized, even if he was ready to walk away. And the other guys being so keen. It speaks volumes about the chemistry they felt, the value they saw in him, like he was the missing piece.
His first performance with X was kind of unique at a place called Yashiro Shokudo for a TV show.
Not exactly the Budokan.
Not quite. Then they hit the ground running. Major debut in '89, Blue E Blood. That must have been a massive leap.
Huge. From local gigs to a major label debut with that band, massive shift. And remember, his role wasn't just guitar.
Right, he was heavily involved in the visuals, even did their hair sometimes.
That multifaceted involvement shows his creative input went way beyond just the instrument.
And he co-wrote songs like Joker, even though Yoshiki was the main songwriter, shows his voice developing within the band.
Exactly. While Yoshiki was the main composer, Hyde's credits show his growing skills and understanding of the band's sound. He wanted to contribute more than just riffs.
But it wasn't all smooth sailing instantly. He apparently struggled at first with X's super fast tempos.
Yeah, that music was technically demanding.
Had to practice intensely. He even got tendinitis recording Vanishing Vision.
Ouch. It highlights the sheer difficulty of X's music and Hyde's dedication. Pushing himself to injury shows his commitment, that work ethic, under the Rockstar image.
So even with all the intensity of xJapan, he starts exploring his own stuff around 1993, first with XXS.
Right, with Jay and Ina from Lunacy.
And then his own solo singles, Eyes Love You and 50%, 50%. What was driving that, do you think?
It's fascinating, isn't it? Carving out his own space while being in such a massive band. It suggests this strong individual vision that maybe couldn't be fully contained within X, a restless artistic spirit needing its own outlet.
And those early solo tracks had lyrics by Yukino Jimori, someone Hyde really admired, even called a mentor.
Yeah, that's significant. Working with someone he respected so much early on would have been really formative, probably shaped his own lyric writing later. He was deliberately seeking guidance.
He even did that video work, Seth at Hulf, with Tusk from ZI Kill around then, experimenting across media.
Exactly. Not just audio. That shows a broader artistic curiosity, wanting to express ideas visually too.
Then, 1994, the first full solo album, Hide Your Face, and that unforgettable cover art by H.R. Giger.
Oh, yeah. Iconic.
Plus his first solo tour that same year. How big was that album in setting up his separate identity?
Crucial. That album, and especially the Geiger collaboration, immediately set a distinct, visually arresting tone for his solo work. Totally different from X's aesthetic.
Right, Geiger's dark, surreal vibe versus X's more flamboyant style.
Exactly. And launching a solo tour right after cemented his commitment to this new path.
Okay, fast forward to 96. Hyde takes another big step, establishes his own record label, Lemon D.
Yeah, driven by wanting to champion indie bands like Zeppet Store, bring their unique sounds to more people.
That feels pretty selfless for someone already at his level.
It really shows his remarkable generosity, a desire to contribute to the wider scene beyond his own success. Very community-minded, wanting to nurture other artists, foster diversity.
The name Lemondi itself is really interesting, playing on defective product to celebrate unique artists who don't fit the mold.
It's such a powerful metaphor, isn't it? Embracing individuality, finding value in the unconventional. It reflects a philosophy of celebrating those outside the perceived norms. Very fitting for him.
And that same year, he drops his second solo album, Science. So he's juggling xJapan at its peak, his own solo career, and running a label, producing bands.
The man was incredibly busy.
Seriously.
It speaks to this seemingly bottomless well of creative energy, a desire to be involved in music on every level: performer, creator, facilitator.
And his eye for talent was undeniable. Through Ecstasy Records and Lemon D, he spotted or supported Lunacy, Glay, Z-Kill, Deep, Zeppet Store, Vinyl, Trees of Life. That's quite a roster.
It shows a really keen ear for potential across different styles. His support wasn't just for his own genre. He genuinely appreciated innovation in various forms.
Then came 1997, a truly pivotal year. xJapan announced their disbandment after Toshi left, culminating in the last live on New Year's Eve. How did that huge shift impact Hyde?
The end of a band like that. It must have been profound for all of them. For Hyde, while it was obviously the end of an era, it probably also freed him up to channel even more energy into his solo career and Lemon D. A whole new landscape of possibilities opened up.
And he didn't waste a second. January 1st, 1998, the very next day, a full-page newspaper ad announces Hyde with Spread Beaver.
Wow, immediate.
Then the single Rocket Dive dropped later that month. Talk about a bold statement.
That swift, decisive move, launching a new project so prominently right away. It speaks to his unwavering determination to keep creating. Resilience, forward momentum. The end of X wasn't stopping him.
But tragically, this period of new energy was cut incredibly short. We get to his final days. His last filmed appearance was on Rocket Punch, Music Delivery, May 1st, 1998.
Yeah, it's eerie watching that now, knowing it's the last visual recording. Makes it all the more poignant for his fans.
After that recording, he spent the night at his usual spot, the Rock Bar Rally in Nishiazabu. Apparently, there were some disagreements that night about music, his career direction. Then, early morning, his brother and manager, Hiroshi, drove him home.
Sounds like a significant final evening. The account suggests someone deeply engaged, maybe grappling with the challenges of all his projects, pouring his heart and soul into everything.
And then, the devastating news. Morning of May 2nd, 1998, just 33 years old, Hyde was found.
Yeah.
And the cause of death. It's been debated ever since. Suicide versus a tragic accident.
The lack of a note, the unusual circumstances.
Yeah.
It definitely fueled the accident theory, especially his brother Hiroshi's explanation about neck stretching for chronic pain, maybe mixed with jet lag and alcohol.
Right. And Yoshiki himself has always said he doesn't believe Hyde would have taken his own life.
But the police reports at the time did lean towards suicide, didn't they? Based on the ligature mark, reports of him being troubled, drinking more.
It seems like we'll never know for sure. It just leaves this lingering sorrow and unanswered questions for everyone. But regardless of the exact cause, the loss was just immense.
Absolutely. The suddenness, the finality, it sent shockwaves everywhere. Through the music world, his fans.
The days after were incredibly intense. His body was taken to Tsukiji Honganji Temple in Tokyo. Yoshiki flew straight back from LA. News spread like wildfire. Huge crowds of fans gathered just to pay respects.
The sheer scale of that reaction just underlines the profound connection he had with his audience. And Yoshiki coming back so fast highlights that deep bond between the xJapan members.
The funeral itself was massive. Private service first, then a public wake and funeral over 2 days, May 6th and 7th. Estimates were around 50,000 fans turned out.
50,000, wow.
The outpouring was huge, reports of fans collapsing, even some tragic incidents of attempted suicide. It really speaks to the depth of that connection.
That level of grief from so many people, it's a powerful testament to the impact he had on their lives. Music, persona, everything. The media coverage was intense too, even live TV broadcasts of the funeral emphasizes his cultural significance.
And in a really moving moment at the funeral, Toshi sang Forever Love, with Yoshiki accompanying him on piano.
God, that must have been incredibly emotional. A poignant, powerful tribute, bringing together the past and present of xJapan in shared loss.
Even after the funeral, there were more memorial events, and sadly, even some vandalism at his grave underscores the intense emotions surrounding his death.
It's a stark reminder of how deeply personal his music and image were to fans, and how profoundly his absence was felt.
But his music lived on. Posthumous singles like Pink Spider and Ever Free were released as planned.
Yeah, those releases offered this kind of bittersweet continuation, allowed fans to keep connecting with his music, maybe offered some closure, while also showing the directions he was exploring.
And Zilch, that project with Ray McVeigh and Paul Raven, their debut album 321 came out. Plus the incredibly moving single Hurry Go Round, which INA painstakingly put together from Hyde's demo recordings. That sounds like a real labor of love.
Oh, absolutely. Those posthumous releases, especially Hurry Go Round, felt like a profound link to his final creative work, INA's dedication in finishing that song. It's a testament to their close partnership and honoring Hyde's vision.
Then the album Жазу was completed with help from the Spread Beaver members, even some old bandmates from Saber Tiger.
That really speaks to the strong sense of community he built around him, doesn't it?
It truly does. The fact that so many collaborators came together to finish his musical ideas highlights that collaborative spirit he had and the deep respect they all felt for him.
Tributes poured in, too. That Hyde Tribute Spirits album, just a year after his death, featured such a diverse range of artists he'd influenced.
Yeah, that really showed his reach, didn't it?
That album was a powerful testament to the breadth and depth of his influence on Japanese music.
Yeah.
Showcased how his artistry resonated across different genres.
Then in 2000, his hometown, Yokosuka, honored him by opening the Hyde Museum.
Right, showcasing his memorabilia, instruments, personal stuff.
Even the prime minister at the time, Koizumi Junichiro, who was a known xJapan fan, attended the opening. That's significant recognition.
Having a museum dedicated to him speaks volumes about his enduring cultural significance in Japan. The PM attending. That just underscores his importance not just as a musician, but as a cultural icon.
They even had local buses themed after Hyde in the museum.
That's brilliant.
Though the museum closed in 2005, there have been talks, even plans for future exhibitions. His presence in Yokosuka remains strong.
It's good to know efforts continue to preserve and share his legacy, keep his impact alive in his hometown.
The Lemon D Shop also saw a revival, reopening in Uraharajuku in 2007. Closed later due to the pandemic, but the Osaka store and the online shop are still going, keeping that part of his vision alive.
The continuation of Lemon shows the lasting impact of his entrepreneurial spirit, too, his commitment to supporting other artists, even though after he was gone.
And remarkably, when xJapan reunited in 2007, Hyde officially remained a member.
Yeah, that's quite something.
His past performances are digitally integrated into new music, live shows. His image, even his guitars, appear on stage. It's a unique way to honor him.
That decision to keep him as an official member, even physically absent, speaks to the irreplaceable role he played in xJapan, the deep, enduring respect his bandmates have. It's a powerful way to keep his presence integral to their music.
There was also that huge Hyde Memorial Summit in 2008, brought together countless fans and musicians.
Events like that are vital, aren't they? A space for fans, fellow artists to come together, share memories, celebrate his contributions.
Anniversary projects have become a regular thing, too, marking milestones like his solo debut's 20th, his 50th birthday, lots of releases, events, tributes.
These ongoing commemorations ensure his artistic achievements and cultural impact continue to be recognized and celebrated.
In 2014, there was that Kogal album featuring a previously unreleased song finished using Vocaloid technology.
That's fascinating. A blend of his past and the future of music tech.
Right. Using Vocaloid to complete that track. It's an intriguing example of extending an artist's vision posthumously. Almost echoes his own early interest in digital tools.
Definitely. And numerous documentary films and books have come out, too, offering different perspectives.
Like Junk Story, Hurry Go Round, Tell Me, plus that very personal book by his close collaborator INA. They offer such valuable insights.
These different media give us this rich, multi-layered understanding of his life, his music, his impact. Let fans and newcomers delve deeper from different angles through the eyes of those who knew him best.
The Hyde Mix Lemon de Jelly events have also seen a revival recently, keeping that vibrant part of his legacy going.
Those events were clearly important to him, fostering community, showcasing talent. Their continuation is a meaningful way to honor that vision.
And even Hyde with Spread Beaver reunited for the Visual Japan Summit in 2016, and they did a 25th anniversary tour in 2023. Fans must have loved that.
That reunion just underscores the strong musical bonds in that band and the continued love for the music they made with Hyde, a testament to their chemistry and unique sound.
Recent events like Hyde Memorial Day 2024 and the Recycle 60th Anniversary box just show his memory is very much alive.
It's clear his influence, his music, continue to resonate deeply in Japan and with his devoted fans worldwide.
Okay, let's switch gears a bit and talk about his musical style and influences. He was clearly impacted by a really wide range of stuff.
Oh yeah.
Kiss, especially Ace Frehley, The Clash, Iron Maiden, Deep Purple, Van Halen, The Damned, Led Zeppelin, Japan, BAWYYW. That's quite a spectrum.
It is a broad palette, hard rock theatrics, punk energy, metal power, new wave melody. This eclectic mix definitely contributed to the unique, often genre-bending nature of his own music.
And it's worth noting, while he admired Bow Wow's Yamamoto, it was actually their other guitarist, Saito's use of the Mockingbird, that first caught his eye.
Ah, right. Good clarification. That guitar became so key for him.
He even coined that unforgettable phrase for X, psychedelic violence crime of visual shock.
It perfectly captured their whole vibe, didn't it? The over-the-top visuals, the intense, genre-fusing sound, a concise, memorable definition of their unique identity.
And he's often credited with popularizing the term visual kai. Apparently, it started almost casually, him saying something like, well, aren't we visual kei?
Yeah. And that seemingly offhand remark ended up defining a whole subgenre. Elaborate costumes, makeup, theatrical presence. It wasn't just music, it was the whole visual and sonic package. His simple question inadvertently named a movement, shows his unexpected influence.
Interestingly, Marilyn Manson was apparently a fan of Hyde even early on, before Hyde got big internationally.
That is a fascinating connection.
Yeah.
Suggests Hyde's artistry resonated even with artists who'd achieve a very different kind of global fame later. A shared sensibility, maybe, for pushing boundaries, exploring darker themes.
Musically, he was often seen more as a sound designer and producer than just a technical guitar wizard. His driving force was this incredible curiosity about sound itself.
That producer mindset let him experiment with a huge range of sounds and textures, going beyond just impressive solos to craft a whole immersive sonic landscape, always exploring new sonic possibilities.
And a really crucial figure in his solo work was INA.
Absolutely. Recording engineer, manipulator, fellow Spread Beaver member.
Their collaboration sounds like it was integral right from the very beginning, a really strong partnership.
It seems like genuine creative synergy. INA wasn't just recording, he was actively shaping and realizing Hyde's musical visions in the studio. True collaborators.
They apparently aimed for really high-quality demos, even early on, to clearly communicate Hyde's intentions. The track Lassie on Science even used the original demo recording.
That dedication to quality demos shows a meticulous approach, and including the demo of Lassie, that offers a unique, intimate glimpse into their workflow.
Hyde even brought INA, who was initially behind the scenes, into the spotlight as a touring member, eventually a key part of Spread Beaver.
Yeah, that speaks volumes about the trust and respect he had for INA's contributions. It wasn't just hiring a tech. He valued INA's creative input, saw him as integral. Bringing him on stage was a public acknowledgement of that.
Their close relationship is even depicted in that Tell Me film. INA provided the original story, was heavily involved in music editing and supervision.
It certainly is. INA's central role in that film's creation is a testament to the profound, lasting impact of their personal and professional bond.
Okay, let's dive a bit deeper into Le Monde. We know it was inspired by Zeppet Store, the name playing on defective product, celebrating uniqueness.
Right.
But what was the broader vision, beyond just releasing music?
Hyde's vision for Le Monde was way bigger than just a record label. He wanted to create a whole ecosystem around celebrating individuality. It included fashion, with merchandise lines, lifestyle, with a hair salon, even sports, sponsoring a Formula Nippon racing team. It was about fostering a community and a culture of unique expression in lots of different forms.
And the Mix Le Monde Jelly events were obviously key to building that community, bringing artists and fans together.
Those events were clearly central to his Le Monde division, a vibrant platform for the label's artists to connect with each other and their audience, live and interactively.
Then there was Zilch, The project with Ray McVey and Paul Raven.
Yeah, featuring a flexible lineup, some really notable guests too. Steve Jones, Jerry Cantrell, Duff McKagan.
This seems like a real departure from his other work.
It feels like it was driven by a desire to push his musical boundaries even further. Explore a more avant-garde, experimental rock sound, not confined by expectations of Japanese or Western scenes. A chance to break free.
Their stated aim was to create something totally new, transcending those boundaries. Almost a challenge to the American music industry. Pretty ambitious.
It is. Speaks to Hyde's constant need for creative evolution, his ambition to create something truly original, internationally impactful, never content to stay in established territories.
So, zilch felt like a way for him to pursue a specific musical direction he was passionate about, separate from maybe the expectations around his solo stuff or xJapan.
Exactly. Suggests that restless artistic spirit again, always yearning to explore different facets of his music, not be defined by one genre or style.
The posthumous release of Three of Two, Sir, it included really heartfelt messages from McVeigh and Raven in the booklet. It must have been emotional for them.
Yeah, those personal messages added another layer of poignancy, offered a glimpse into the creative camaraderie and the personal loss felt by his zilch collaborators.
There were even plans for tours, and that potential collaboration with Marilyn Manson for the Beautiful Monsters tour.
Wow, that would have been quite a pairing.
Seriously.
That potential collaboration is incredibly intriguing. Manson's own boundary pushing. It would have been a fascinating, probably groundbreaking meeting of two distinct iconoclastic artists.
Sadly, Zilch's future became uncertain after Paul Raven also tragically passed away in 2007.
It's a poignant reminder of the fragility of creative projects and the profound impact loss has on collaborations.
Okay, let's get into some of the more personal, revealing anecdotes that really paint a picture of Hyde beyond the music. That pioneering use of the internet.
Yeah, back in the mid-90s. His own website, email.
And he personally replied to all his fan emails at the start. That's incredible access.
Truly groundbreaking for the time. Speaks to a genuine connection he felt with his audience. A forward-thinking approach to communication way before it was common.
There's that funny story about him racking up a massive international phone bill, like $1,000,000 because he hadn't quite figured out international dial-up from LA.
That's a classic early internet story. Highlights how new and sometimes confusing the tech was, even for someone as forward-thinking as Hyde. A costly learning curve.
He even mentored Hisashi from GLA online, apparently showed him how to access underground websites.
No way.
Yeah, and he was actively exploring integrating MIDI and the internet into his music. Pretty cutting edge.
That early exploration of digital tools, sharing his knowledge, it really positions him as a visionary in integrating tech and music. Saw the potential early, wasn't afraid to experiment.
In '97, he did that Mix Limon de Jelly internet simulcast. Groundbreaking idea, but maybe a bit ahead of its time for the audience back then.
Sounds like he was truly ahead of the curve there, experimenting with what eventually became standard online streaming and live digital events.
Another side of Hyde. His deep affection for children. He was apparently overjoyed when his brother had kids, showered them with gifts, even brought a child on stage during a solo tour encore once. That's a heartwarming image.
These anecdotes reveal that warmer personal side, contrasting with the edgy public persona, shows a genuine capacity for affection, a connection with innocence.
But he also said he didn't want kids of his own. Felt the demands of touring wouldn't let him be the dedicated parent he'd want to be. He even joked he had the confidence to become the world's biggest neck, an overly doting parent.
Yeah.
That shows real self-awareness.
It does. Thoughtful consideration of his own limits and priorities. A recognition he wanted to give his full attention to whatever he committed to, music or family. And, yeah, Oyabaka captures that perfectly, knowing he'd go all in.
Then there's that incredibly moving story about his connection with Mayuko Kishima, the young girl with a serious illness.
Ah, yes, the cheesecake story.
He learned she loved cheesecake, left her a message about enjoying amazing cheesecake together someday. Such a kind gesture.
This story really shows his empathy, his willingness to connect on a deeply human level, even amidst his crazy career, a genuine desire to bring joy and comfort.
He met her through Make-A-Wish, formed a real bond. She knitted him a scarf. He rushed to the hospital after her bone marrow transplant to encourage her. His actions spoke volumes.
They really did. His genuine care and support clearly made a huge difference in her life and her family's. Showcases a deep well of compassion beneath the rockstar surface.
The song Misery is said to have been inspired by his feelings for Mayuko. And when his management set up a press conference after he registered for the bone marrow registry, he was reportedly furious, worried about how media attention might affect her.
Absolutely. His reaction underscores his genuine concern for her privacy, his aversion to any hint his actions were for publicity, highlights the sincerity of their connection.
Sadly, that promise of sharing cheesecake was never fulfilled. Mayuko passed away some years after Hyde.
Yeah.
Her parents later ran a cafe, first Lemonade Cafe, then renamed Yakusoku No Cheesecake, Promise of Cheesecake, and a cheesecake was placed in her coffin.
It's just a profoundly moving, bittersweet end to that story. Underscores the depth of their bond, the lasting impact he had. The cheesecake in her coffin, a powerful symbol.
His regular spot, the Rock Bar Rally, owned by his friend, clearly a significant place for him.
Sounds like it.
He was there constantly, often till the early hours. Apparently, he could be quite the character, loud, boisterous, but also incredibly supportive of others. Sounds like a real sanctuary.
It does sound like a home away from home. A place he could be himself, connect with musicians, unwind. Showing both his exuberant and supportive sides suggests he felt truly comfortable there.
He even reportedly cried at Rally the night xJapan announced their disbandment. Shows the deep emotional tie to that chapter.
Wow, yeah.
And on his final night, he was there, grappling with anxieties about Spread Beaver, his other ventures, expressing his desire for Spread Beaver to be everyone's band. That vulnerability is striking.
That raw emotion at Rally reveals the immense pressure, the personal investment he had in his music, his relationships, his desire for Spread Beaver to be collaborative, everyone's band, speaks to a leadership style valuing inclusivity.
He even positioned himself within Lamone, not as the big Hyde-producing figure, but just Hyde being within Lamone D, reinforces that collaborative ethos.
It does. Emphasizes his focus on fostering a collective, supporting a broader vision, rather than just promoting his own individual stuff.
His connection with Kazuya Yoshi of the Yellow Monkey goes way back. Yeah, back to Yoshi's earlier band days, apparently shared similar musical tastes, mutual respect. It's always interesting seeing those artist-to-artist connections.
It is. Their shared history and mutual admiration probably forged a strong bond, a source of support and understanding in the often competitive music scene.
Hyde was a big fan of the Yellow Monkey, especially their song Q-Con. Even sent someone to check out one of their early shows.
That's cool.
And in '96, he popped up on Yoshi's radio show. Clear sign of support.
Absolutely. His active support for Yoshi's work, public and private, shows genuine appreciation for others' creativity, a willingness to champion talent he believed in.
On the day Hyde passed away, the Yellow Monkey were on tour, and they dedicated their performance of Q-Con to him.
Wow. That's powerful.
Yoshi also reflected on Hyde's death in his autobiography. Expressed his shock, sadness, praised Hyde's unique entertainment value. A strong tribute from a peer.
That dedication of Q-Con was deeply moving. Highlights the profound impact Hyde had on his peers. Yoshi's reflections underscore the personal loss felt in the music community, the high regard Hyde was held in.
Yoshi's song Chosette's Dynamic is even said to be inspired by his relationship with Hyde, connected to Rocket Dive.
Really?
Yeah, and Yoshi paid further tribute on NHK's songs. These musical connections really speak to their bond.
They do. Ongoing musical links and tributes serve as a lasting testament to their friendship, the mutual artistic influence they had.
Just a few more quick anecdotes. Hyde was a big fan of the downtown Nogatsu Kanji comedy show.
Good taste.
Made a couple of memorable appearances on Waratai Tomo, and was involved in some chaotic car ride in LA with Pada and Heath.
Sounds about right.
He had that beloved black Cadillac, nicknamed Kujira Whale. It's in the Everfree video. And his Jaguar Daimler 66 was used in the Tell Me film. These little details add so much personality.
These smaller anecdotes really humanize him, don't they? Reveal his sense of humor, enjoyment of pop culture, life beyond the intense music world. Glimpses into his everyday experiences, the people he shared them with.
And even years later, he's still beloved in Yokosuka. Posters still up, music playing in shops. There's even that story of a taxi driver asked about Yokosuka's specialties, just replying, "What are you talking about? It's Hyde."
That's amazing. Speaks to his enduring local legacy.
That deep, lasting affection in his hometown truly underscores the profound connection he had with the community, the pride they still feel.
Okay, let's talk gear. His iconic equipment, particularly that longtime association with Fernandez, specifically Bernie Mockingbird guitars.
Right, using them even as an amateur. His request actually led to Fernandez reviving that shape as his signature model.
And the replicas sold incredibly well, didn't they?
Phenomenally well. The Mockingbird became totally linked with Hyde's visual identity. Its resurgence as his signature model was natural and hugely successful. Fans wanted to connect with that look and sound.
He had a whole stable of specific guitars, each with a story. The Fernandes FMG 175 Army Panzer, his first Mockingbird, heavily modified, used in Saber Tiger and early X. Sounds like a real workhorse.
It clearly was. That first Mockingbird went through tons of changes as he experimented, his constant companion in those early years.
Then the Mockingbird Amoeba, used during X's major debut, unique diamond inlays, also heavily modified. Had a Tutankhamun ornament covering the headstock logo at one point.
Aha! Distinctive.
The Amoeba definitely had flair. Being so modified shows that ongoing desire to personalize his instruments, make them his own. The Tutankhamun thing adds that touch of playful visual style.
The Fernandes MGX, with that instantly recognizable hand-painted psychedelic design. Maybe one of his most iconic guitars from early X.
Absolutely. That hand-painted design perfectly embodied the whole psychedelic violence, crime of visual shock thing. Instantly recognizable. And the monkey pod wood body apparently gave it a unique sound, too.
Then came the Bernie MGX models, clearly inspired by his Gibson Les Paul standard, like the Cherry Sunburst and the Lemon Drop. Interesting how he brought that classic vibe into the Mockingbird shape.
These models show his appreciation for the classic Les Paul tone and feel, but keeping his preferred Mockingbird shape, blending familiar sonic qualities with his unique visual style.
The Bernie MGX Yellow Heart, with that distinctive heart graphic from a favorite t-shirt, became a main guitar later on, often for specific tunings.
Yeah, another visually striking one closely associated with his solo work, and Pata playing it at a recent memorial that's a really touching detail, a beautiful, poignant tribute to their friendship.
Other notable ones, the Science guitar, artwork from the Science album, used for drop D tuning, and the Green Heart, basically a color variation of the Yellow Heart for standard tuning. He really had a guitar for every sonic need.
He did. Each seems carefully chosen, often customized for specific sounds, specific tunings, reflects his meticulous approach to crafting his sound.
The Bernie MGX Kibon, the circuit board guitar, intended as a main guitar for the last live, very intricate design, but wasn't used much due to sound issues.
Ah, shame. Highlights the unpredictable nature of live shows. Even meticulously planned gear can cause problems.
Beyond those mainstays, he had prototypes that Gibson Les Paul Standard from '94 used heavily in the studio.
Right.
A Martin D18 acoustic, the one placed in his coffin, very personal.
Wow, yeah.
A Bernie H custom Kujira, whale explorer shape. A Bernie HR 195 Rebirth model developed around the time of his death, later produced. Even a Fender Strat Jeff Beck model he customized with collages. Quite a collection.
It's a testament to his diverse tastes, constant experimentation.
Yeah.
The Martin D18 in the coffin really speaks to the personal connection he had with that instrument.
He even had a custom Fernandes JG Custom for the Science A Go tour with a unique illumination feature.
Always pushing the stage presentation boundaries.
And a Bernie H65 Custom used on his '94 solo tour. Just underscores his innovative spirit, wanting not just great sound, but a visually captivating live show.
As for strings and picks, mostly Fernandes strings and a mix of Fernandes scanner picks and Jim Dunlop nylon and Tortex standards.
Even those small details are part of a guitarist's signature sound.
Absolutely. Subtle variations in gauge and pick thickness make a noticeable difference in tone and feel.
And amps and effects. A range of high-end gear with X and Solo, ENZL, High Watt, Marshall, VHT amps. Effects like the Digitech Whammy. He knew how to build his sonic world.
His choices reflect that desire for a powerful, versatile sound, capable of handling X's intensity and the more nuanced textures of his solo stuff.
Finally, let's circle back to Hyde with Spread Beaver, specifically the story behind that memorable name.
Right. Formed in '98, final lineup of 7 members called Kaijin Monsters.
And P-Jin was the Suketo Kaijin, helper monster. Quite the monikers.
The Kaijin nickname definitely adds to the mystique, the playful, almost cartoonish image.
The origin of Spread Beaver. Quite something. Apparently, Hyde told INA the meaning with a big grin. His own Japanese translation, according to his brother, Pantsu Marumi, panties, fully visible.
Ah, that's classic Hyde humor.
Yeah.
Cheeky.
Totally. But the actual American English slang meaning is, well, quite vulgar.
Yeah.
Carolyn even got hassled by U.S. Customs because of the band's logo on his bass.
Oh, wow. Prime example of cultural interpretation clashes, highlights the provocative potential of the name and logo and how slang differs wildly.
Despite, or maybe because of the name, Hyde affectionately called them a band he wouldn't be embarrassed to take anywhere. And INA described them as Rascals, lively, noisy, shameless, but when they made sound, it was perfect.
That's a great summary.
It perfectly captures that raw energy, the dynamic of a band that was both wild and incredibly musically tight.
They released Жазу, toured after Hyde's passing, and that recent 25th anniversary tour, spurred by the Tell Me film's response, shows the project still resonates. That reunion tour speaks to the enduring bond between the members, the lasting love for the music they made with Hyde, and Kiyoshi's reflection that Spread Beaver might have finally become the band Hyde envisioned after 25 years.
Yeah.
That's particularly poignant.
So as we bring this deep dive into the extraordinary world of Hyde to a close, we've encountered a truly unique, multifaceted artist. From his early fascination with tech to his iconic visual style, his constantly evolving, innovative music, his impact is just undeniable.
What's really striking is the enduring nature of his influence. He wasn't just a musician selling records, he was a cultural force. Ignited imaginations, forged this deeply personal connection with fans. His fearless willingness to experiment musically and technologically truly set him apart.
And it makes you think, doesn't it? How often do you find an artist who so seamlessly blended that larger-than-life rock star persona with such genuine kindness, a playful humor, and a real desire to uplift and support others?
Yeah.
Hyde's legacy feels particularly powerful because of that unique, compelling combination. His impact goes way beyond just music.
That's a crucial point. He challenged conventions not just in his art, but in how he lived, how he interacted with the world. His story leaves us with a fascinating question for you, the listener. In a world that often seems to prioritize conformity, what can we learn from someone who's so boldly embraced his individuality, championed the uniqueness in others, and left such a vibrant, lasting imprint on the cultural landscape?
A powerful thought to end on. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.